Welcome back to another episode of Ingrid's World. I love the new year because it opens up the world of possibilities. Meet an executive director who strives to meet the needs of teens and their family. Then we will be talking with a chef who will help us review the food that's on our shelves and share food facts. Our last guest, or youth correspondents, they will tell us what's on their list for New Year's resolutions and tell me whether or not I'm on the right track. It's a new you, and it's definitely a new me. Now let's welcome to the show Judith Demers, Executive Director of Alternative House. First of all, last name, I said Judith, please, what's your last name?
Judith Dittman.
Dittman. First of all, that's most important. Thank you, first of all, for being on the show, because that was just, what Alternative House does is really important. And first, let's talk about the objective of Alternative House. What do you do with, what does Alternative House provide?
Well, I think most people who know about Alternative House are probably familiar with our emergency shelter for teenagers, which is there on Gallows Road, and we work with young people who are 13 to 18 years old, and they're either homeless or they've run away or perhaps been kicked out by a parent. They may be suffering from abuse. That was the program that started Alternative House. Since then, though, we have expanded tremendously. We now have longer-term housing programs for young women who are pregnant or parenting and who are homeless, for children who are in high school, but who don't have the support of a parent or guardian and really don't have a roof over their heads, nowhere safe to stay at night. So there's a lot of things going on, and we're also out there in a lot of locations in the community trying to help kids stay in their homes and stay in school.
Excellent.
And the families to stay together. So we work with kids from birth all the way through about age 24, and then we work with the families, obviously, to try to keep our young people in the community safe with their family.
You know, what I loved about Alternative House is that it's a safe place, caring adults, and I think that that's really critical. I was sharing with you earlier that that's actually, Alternative House is actually one of my favorite organizations to volunteer for through my Rotary Club. And I know that's what brings me to Alternative. What brought you to choose a life of service like that? Because that's not an easy job.
Well, it's not an easy job, but I think the counselors and the people who work directly with the families probably have a harder job than I do. They go so far above and beyond, as do volunteers, people who just come in and give to these young people from the fullness of their heart. I've been with Alternative House for 19 years, and I think what keeps me coming back is the knowledge that over those years we've been able to expand a lot, as I just mentioned to you. So we've grown, but there still is so much that needs to be done. At our Assisting Young Mothers program, we average a waiting list of 30 young women who want to come and have the safe shelter. And we don't have room for them.
Oh my goodness, so you have waiting lists.
We have waiting lists, and to me that's unacceptable. Our emergency shelter for teenagers is the only one like it in Northern Virginia. The next closest shelter like ours in this state is in Virginia Beach.
For teens, it's in Virginia Beach?
It's in Virginia Beach.
Oh my word.
So we get young, primarily from Fairfax County. About 75% of the young people at the shelter are from Fairfax County. But we're it. You know, if a young person is in Alexandria or Arlington or Fauquier, there is no other emergency shelter. And so there's a need for more programs like ours.
Absolutely.
Homeless young people are not just a problem in Fairfax. So the more that we can get strong programs going, the more that we can share that with other communities. And that's really important, I think, that we don't leave any young person in an unsafe situation.
That's right.
I mean, Fairfax is a beautiful city, a beautiful area, but would you want to be 16 years old and not sure whose couch you were going to sleep on tonight in the middle of January?
It's frightening.
It is. It's very frightening. And the kids that come to us that say, oh, I'm not homeless, but no, I don't know where I'm sleeping tonight.
Wow.
because
wow.
young people don't identify themselves as homeless. They just ran out of couches.
Wow. Wow.
So
that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. What really just, you know, I have the opportunity of, we switch off from my Rotary Club, and Wednesdays is our day to bring, meal. And I really just love it, and I'd like to try to get there early so I can kind of like cook in the kitchen so they can smell like what it is, cooking. And I take from that is that it's such a home atmosphere. You have counselors, I saw teachers working in there. What are some of the other activities that you have going on in Alternative House?
Oh, in all of our programs we have arts and crafts. We have people who come in and share their talents. We have a drop-in teen center in an area of Fairfax called Colmore. And it's one of the lower income areas in this community. And we have people come in and share what they do for a living so that they can inspire teens to think beyond just graduating from high school and going to work in retail. There's so many other careers out there. So sharing what you do, or your passion for knitting, or everyone has a talent, I think. Most of us have more than one. These young people really want to learn about those. So we welcome the community into all of our programs.
So if someone's watching this show, because like you're inspiring me, I'm like, okay, I might need to do a little bit more here. So
we'll be calling.
Because I really feel as if that's where it starts. I've been very fortunate to have a great career, and now I want that opportunity to be able to give back. This is what you can do.
Well, and I think that at Alternative House, we looked at how our programs grew and said, how did they all hang together? It seems real evident to us, but to someone from outside, what do we do? Well, we provide safe havens. Everything we do provides a safe haven for a young person. But we also provide those opportunities to grow and thrive. And that's where volunteering comes in. I mean, we need more townhouses for our moms, and we need another shelter in this community for our young people. But those opportunities to grow and thrive are also really important, where people share their own life experience and act as mentors and teachers. And so that's the other focus. And then ultimately, to break those cycles of poverty and abuse that hold children and families back.
Right.
Because I think all of our kids deserve to have a loving and nurturing home.
That's right. That's right.
And the connections to caring adults.
Oh, it's critical. I mean, I had great parents, terrific mom and father, but it's also, I remember in my experience, there was a teacher, someone was at the community center, but there are all these adults. So your program gives us an opportunity to get in touch and to help. So final words, how can we get involved and how can we find you?
Well, probably one of the easiest ways to do it is every second Tuesday of the month, we hold information sessions at our emergency shelter for teenagers.
There you go.
They're 1 hour long. You can find out about all of our programs. You can find out how you can get involved, what the challenges are facing young people and families in our community. And so that's a great place to start. If you go to our website, you'll find all the information there. It's www.thealternativehouse.org.
Excellent. Well, you're really putting it out there about how to get involved. This is what we really want to start off our new year, and I've made a commitment, personally, that I want to do more service-oriented projects, and Alternative House is like the perfect thing.
I think it would be.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You're amazing, and I can see the passion. I hope our viewers see how passionate you are about what's going on and what you're doing.
It's easy to get that way. They're great kids.
Wow, great. Well, coming up next, we'll be talking to Chef April, who has stepped out of the kitchen to give us some food facts. So stay right tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Ingrid's World. I am your host, Ingrid Paris Hicklin. I want you all to meet April Young, chef and owner of Ivy Flavor, LLC. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ingrid.
Chef
Thank
April,
you.
it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me again.
Well, I really wanted you to kind of like step out the kitchen and to kind of, let's say, talk about food, because when you're cooking, you know, I mean, the food, first of all, it was hard to give it up because you're very good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I had some questions here that I really want to talk, because this is like the beginning of the year, and I think it's always a good time to kind of like look at what's in your cupboard and on those shelves and what we need to. So let's start off. So it's the beginning of the year. What do I need to throw out of my pantry? What's your rule of thought?
Well, the first things first, anything expired. You want to look at those, you know, labels, make sure you're getting rid of anything from the prior year that's already expired. I would say that a lot of times we tend to move food to the back to make room for others, so start in the back. But the fact that it's New Year's, we all have resolutions, and which typically means we want to go on a diet. You know, we want a new me, a new self. So I'd say get rid of those chips and the cookies, the salty, over-processed type foods, the sodas.
The soda
the
too?
Sodas, get rid of the sodas. Yes, anything pretty much over-processed, real salty content, the chips, the cookies, the snacks, pretty much. Start there.
Oh my goodness. So it sounds like I'm getting rid of all my staples.
All your staples. Not really, no.
Okay, all right. So I got to start there. All right. So, but that's what you're saying is really good. So you're moving those, because you know what's interesting. You're quite right. That's when, if you were to open up what my shelves are, the new stuff is up front.
Yes, yes.
And I keep shoving.
We tend to forget about what we have in the back. So.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now, what's a warning signal, warning sign that the frozen food that's in your freezer needs to be ditched?
Needs to be ditched. Well, a lot of times you will open up your freezer and you'll see what's called freezer burn.
Yeah.
And what it looks like, it's like this white film and it's kind of dry.
Right.
You don't get sick over it, but it definitely will make your meats tasteless and dry.
Wow.
So yeah, anytime you see that, a lot of people still cook with it, you know, on there, but again, I would recommend not doing that. It doesn't have the best taste, and it makes your meat pretty dry. So what I'd recommend is that, you know, when you're ready to pull out that piece of meat or whatever you want to cook and perhaps refreeze it, wrap it tightly in foil or a saran wrap, and make sure it's airtight so nothing's getting in.
Well, what about like food? I get food, let's say, from, you know, a local grocery store. But I put it in the refrigerator, and then it seems like it also gets freezer burned. I mean, should I be rewrapping that stuff, or?
Quite possibly, yes. It just depends on how long it's been frozen. For instance, you know, with hot dogs, we buy hot dogs, and we don't use the entire container. We'll put it in the freezer. Hot dogs can be placed in the freezer for 1 to 2 months. Let's say you put ground meats like ground chicken or beef or lamb or whatnot, that could be 2 to 4 months. Steaks actually can be held 6 to 12 months in the freezer.
A steak?
Yes.
But you said make sure you wrap it really tight.
Airtight, yes.
Airtight?
Yes.
Okay, so do I need one of those fancy machines?
It
to
wouldn't
like
hurt.
suck it?
No, you don't need one of those.
But actually, you know, I really want to try to do a lot better. So now tell me, I'm one of these people who, like, Sunday is like a big time for me to cook. And sometimes I like to cook a lot of food that we can kind of like eat during the week. And then my family like starts making faces at me. And so I feel like I need to put some of it in the freezer. What's the rule of thumb for that in terms of, let's say I want to freeze some of that?
Right. Well, typically, I mean, you can freeze anything. You know, you can freeze anything. What I like to do on Sundays, if you do a crock pot meal, you can freeze that. Or if you prepare like a lasagna, don't bake it, put it in the freezer first. Or if you have mac and cheese, anything that needs to be baked, you freeze it first. And then when it's time to come out, you bake it.
Okay.
That'll keep it also moist.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the macaroni and cheese,
Right.
That's exactly what I'm always fixing. Okay, so I can layer it. Should I put my filling in there too?
Yeah, go ahead and make it the way you would, and just freeze it.
But then
when it's time to bake it, and the reason why I say don't bake it first is because it will always come out drier than it should be.
Excellent. Okay, so it always comes out drier. Okay, now another question. When I you know, we're trying to put together this pantry that's kind of like healthy food, you know, what should be some of my staples? So, because you've already made me get rid of my chips and soda and the cookies.
Right.
They're all gone. What should I now stock up with?
Well, what I like to have stocked are oils, and olive oil is always good because you need some sort of fat to cook with. And instead of cooking with the butter, you know, or the vegetable oils or canola oils, get a good olive oil. I would say extra virgin olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is just processed a bit differently, and it helps remove all the impurities. I would say also with olive oil, has tons of antioxidants, and so yeah, it prevents cancer. Another thing I love to cook with is garlic. I mean, you can chop it, saute it, grill it, anything with the garlic. Garlic also helps with heart disease. And so I almost put garlic in everything I do, even on fruit. I know it's weird.
Really?
Yeah. Garlic is good for you. Let's see. Another good staple, chicken broth, like broths and stocks, whether it's chicken, beef, or vegetable. Those always add flavors, and you know, IV flavor, we're all about flavor on top of flavor on top of flavor. So if you want to boil rice or potatoes or your vegetables, don't use water, use your stocks or your broths. And once it's open,
that's how you add the flavor.
Yeah. And so once it's open, you can just keep it in the refrigerator until it's time to reuse it again. And you can make your own broth. You know, on Sundays, if you boil chicken or for something, or chicken bones, you can use the broth and store it for something later to, you know, cook cabbage in or broccoli or whatever you like to cook during the week.
Yummy. I need to come to your house to eat. It already sounds wonderful. So now, if I was invited to your home and I got a chance to peek into your pantry, what would I find?
With me, I like to keep a lot of different types of things. So let's say the oils. You know, I like different flavored oils. So I'll flavor my own oils. Yeah.
Flavor your own
as far as vinegars, I love different types of vinegars. So whether it's red wine, balsamic, I can go on and on and on. I just like different types of the same thing. Seasonings, have tons of those. The stocks and the broths, you know, I keep a lot. A lot of those on hand. The vegetables, I keep frozen vegetables, fresh vegetables as well.
Wow. I've heard so many different things. You know, I watched these different, you know, shows on television. They're talking about, oh, make sure you have like tomato sauce.
Yes.
Is that?
Yes. Actually, I was going to say tomato sauce, or you can even use canned tomatoes as well as marinara sauce, just to have that on hand. That's a great staple. Tons of antioxidants in that as well. So yeah, it is healthy, of course.
It is healthy for you. Wow.
Keep your pasta on hand too. To top
pasta
it off.
too. And are you saying, should we get regular pasta is fine, or should we get wheat pasta?
I would suggest wheat pasta. Yeah, as well as, you know, any sort of whole grain type rice instead of the enriched whole grain.
Whole grain. Wow. Oh my goodness, that sounds. So now, if we have food questions, how can we reach you?
Well, I do have a fan page on Facebook, www.facebook.com/ivyflavor. You can also reach me on my website at ivyflavor.com. I'm always available.
You know, I mean, that's why I really wanted to sit down and, you know, and talk with you more about food. You know, next time you'll be out here cooking.
I cannot wait.
But I just think it's always good to like lay the groundwork, especially for January. Okay, let's get rid of some of that food and let's stock up. And you have my commitment. I'm getting rid of the chips. Even the sour cream.
You can do it, Ingrid.
Oh my goodness, that's hard. But you are definitely a perfect example of it.
Thank you.
Well, April, welcome back. And great to have you back on the show.
Thank you very much.
I look forward to you being on the show again.
Thanks for having me, Ingrid.
All right. I love food facts. This year, I'm going to try to be more conscious of the food I am eating. Coming up next, we'll be talking to our youth correspondents on Ingrid's World, and they're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. Welcome back to Ingrid's World. Let's welcome back to the show our youth correspondents, Alyssa Hicklin and Isis Wallace. Well, welcome to the show, young ladies. Good to have you.
Thank you.
So we're here to talk about New Year's resolutions. So what do they mean? Alyssa, do you have an idea what New Year's resolutions mean?
I think New Year's resolutions are things like, for example, I'm gonna be healthy. Like every single New Year, you have to make something you want to stop, like being more healthy or exercising more.
Oh, something that you like to start. And that's really, and what's on your New Year's resolution list?
My New Year's resolutions are being healthy, standing up for others, and of course taking care of my mom and dad.
Oh, that's nice. What's on your list, Isis?
My resolution is to have fun this year and do 10 things with my two best friends, Gabriella and Alyssa, before I turn 10.
Wow. And you're going to do 10 things with them?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll tell you my resolutions. I'm going to be eating more candy and watching more movies.
April's not going to be happy.
Oh, she's not going to be happy.
That's not a New Year's resolution, though.
Oh, it's not. Okay. All right. So, all right, I guess I have to rethink this. All right. So I believe that I will have my New Year's resolution. Well, what do you think they should be?
Maybe, like eating more healthy stuff, you know?
Making more good food.
Making good food.
We're not saying that you cook bad.
No.
But eating healthy. Oh, because you heard Chef April talk about how I need to get rid of the chips and soda, huh? All right, so I'm going to, but in all serious though, I do think I'm going to volunteer more because I think it's so important to be a volunteer and to help others. So that will be on my New Year's resolution list. And also, I have to say, exercise. I'm going to try to exercise right away tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what my parents do. They go to the gym.
Oh, they do? And eat healthy, do service, and also be extra kind and patient to others. Anything else I need to add on my list?
No. Taking care of your family.
Okay, taking care of my family. Anything that should not be on my list?
Eating more candy.
Or making your teeth yellow.
Ooh, sounds like some bad ideas that I definitely need to make sure I don't do. Well, I think you all are pretty wonderful, and I'm pretty sure that you're going to have a great New Year's and giving us lots of ideas of what to make on our list. So thank you for being on the show, Alyssa.
Thank you.
And thank you for being on the show, Isis.
Thank you.
And thank you, audience, for welcoming me into your world. My final thought I hope that you will think about is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Write on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. Thank you for watching Ingrid's World, and don't forget to become a fan on Facebook for instant Ingrid World news, or see ingridsworld.org. See you soon. I would like to thank the Prince William County Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc. for underwriting this episode of Ingrid's World. This year marks the 30th year that the Prince William County Alumnae Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Inc. has hosted the Martin Luther King Jr. Day program for Prince William County, Manassas City, and Manassas Park in Northern Virginia. The cornerstone of this event is a youth oratorical competition in which 3 middle and 3 high school youth will speak on this year's topic, the high road to brotherhood. The program also features a performance by the MLK Community Choir and a guest violinist. So join us on January 19th, 2015 at the Hilton Memorial Chapel at 11 a.m. You are guaranteed to leave inspired by the erudite, optimistic words and music of our youth. For more information, see www.pwc.org. pwcacdst.org.